Hey guys, this is Chris from AndroidPIT.com, and today we have the brand new iPhone 6, the very best that Apple has to offer the Apple fanboys, and we have what I currently believe is the best Android device around, the LG G3. So as you can see, the iPhone 6 is the biggest we've ever seen. It's 4.7 inches, the iPhone 6 Plus is 5.5 inches, which happens to be the same size of the screen on the LG G3. So you can see there's obviously much larger bezels on the iPhone 6, other than the screen difference. But there's quite a lot of interesting things going on in terms of design. So let's take a quick look at the iPhone first. So compared to the old iPhone 5S, of course, you can see that there's major differences in terms of the edges. We're no longer rocking the boxy square-edged metal feel from previous iPhones. Instead, we've gone for this much smoother rounded edges and curves that we've also seen on the Sony Xperia Z3. You'll also get hints of the HTC One M8 on the back as well, with these antenna bands along the back. So because the phone is now bigger, the iPhone 6 power button has moved to the side. We only have one speaker grill on the bottom now, and the volume buttons have even changed on the side. On the back, everything's looking nice and smooth. It's actually a really good looking phone, I do have to admit, even though a few of my friends who are diehard Apple fans don't really like it. It is a little bit on the slippery side, I have to admit. On the back here, we've got our 8 megapixel iSight camera with 240 frames per second slow motion, time lapse, and a whole bunch of other stuff we'll cover in further detail in a massive camera comparison coming up soon. Of course, up front, we also have the home button, which is also the Touch ID for accessing the phone. So let's take a quick look at the LG G3 now. The LG G3 has no home button on the front, but access is made easy with the knock code. So again, security is going to be up to a matter of personal preference. As you can see, we have this really impressive screen to body ratio up front with really small bezels. But let's take a look at the other features as well. So you can see on the side of the G3, we have no buttons at all. That's because we have a slightly curved back panel, and all of the buttons are located on the back. So we have our dual LED flash, we have our laser autofocus, 13 megapixel camera with laser autofocus of course, and optical image stabilization plus, and our volume rocker and power button on the back. Speaker is right down the bottom here, otherwise charging port, headphones, and an infrared blaster up top. One of the other things you'll notice about the G3 is that it's not actually metal, it's a metal look plastic, and that means that we can take the back panel off. So that pops straight off to reveal a 3000 milliamp hour battery, which is removable, as well as a micro SD card slot. So you can pop in a 128 gigabyte memory card to expand your storage. The iPhone 6, of course, does not give you that option. You have to pay significantly more if you want 128 gigs of storage. So with the screens on, you can see a few differences. Of course, the G3 is pretty famous because it has a Quad HD display, which is significantly more than you'll find on any of the iPhones. Even the larger iPhone 6 Plus has nowhere near the pixel density of the G3. There are some technical issues with the G3 screen that we've covered in the past, but needless to say, it is super sharp and pretty impressive nonetheless. We won't bore you either with the major differences between iOS and Android. We've kind of covered that stuff previously. You can check the description below for links to the full breakdown of Android versus iOS, but we have some pretty simple differences you can see straight away. A double press on the Touch ID or home button on the iPhone 6 will bring up essentially your recent apps list, giving you shortcuts to all of your favorite apps and previews, as well as your most recent contacts. On the G3, of course, we have a slightly different option, which you can change to look whichever way you like. Quick settings on the LG G3 are all up the top here in small icon buttons. You can obviously add the ones that you like and keep things as custom as you want, but all of our notifications are also here on the drop-down menu, accessed directly from the top. On the iPhone 6, it's slightly different. If we swipe down from the top, we'll have some calendar reminders, and then our notifications will be in a separate tab. If we swipe up from the bottom, you'll have your quick settings that we get from the top on the G3, with some music control and some shortcuts to some of your settings. So of course there's plenty of visual differences between the two interfaces as well. I won't bore you with too many of them, but you can check out the full website for some other comparisons as well. Let's take a quick look at the settings menu. You can see everything is nicely laid out. Of course the iPhone is nice and silky smooth as always, and the G3 is just as snappy as you would expect it to be. Now the 13 megapixel camera on the LG G3 is really fantastic. It shoots incredibly fast, it's really accurate, and the laser autofocus is fantastic in low light as well. It's a pretty minimal camera interface. You've got some pretty simple stuff like timer, which of course you also have on the iPhone 6, HDR as well, and very few preset modes, including panorama, which the iPhone 6 also has, as well as magic focus, which admittedly is not all that great. So the last thing to think about is the price. Of course, the iPhone 6 will set you back $780 on Amazon for a 16GB unlocked version. The LG G3, on the other hand, will set you back only $480. So that's one of the major things you need to keep an eye out for as well. Of course, both devices are more different than they are similar, but both have really nice screens and fantastic cameras. Of course, the G3 does have a removable battery though that will last you longer than the iPhone 6's all-day battery life. So check out the other videos on the site. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you want to see in future videos and argue it in the comments. Which phone do you think is more worth your money?